Hey Singapore, you're watching SG Sports Uncut Episode 11. I'm your host Raj Kumar, and Uncut is a show that brings you closer to our Team Singapore athletes and officials. On today's show, we are breaking away from our standard interview format and thrusting the spotlight on the coronavirus situation in Singapore. Last weekend, Sports Singapore initiated a move to assist in the nationwide Mask Distribution Exercise. And on today's show, we are speaking to some of the volunteers who were involved in that exercise. And with us right now is Patrick Paranjody, a senior executive at SportCares. Patrick, welcome to SG Sports Uncut. First off, maybe you can tell us, SportCares, what does the organization do?
SportCares generally is a force for social good. So our main priority is actually to uplift, transform, and change the lives of our participants through sports.
Okay, and this mask distribution exercise, which took place over the last weekend, all of us here at Sports Singapore received the alert, I think, on the Friday night. So tell us, maybe from your point of view, what happened from when the message went out.
So Friday night we got the call to action. So we mobilized our different chat groups for youth participants, mainly from our Saturday Night Lights football program. So our youth range from 13 to 21 years old. So the moment we sent out the text, we started to gather who was available. So there were a lot of issues there logistically because a lot of our youth are working on the weekends to supplement their incomes and their allowance. So usually they just keep the Saturday night free for the football program itself, which is their passion.
Right.
So all in all, we got 10 youth stepping forward actually.
Okay, so 10 responded and were available. What transpired after that? I mean, on Saturday, were they involved in Saturday on the first day, or
they were involved in Saturday in the first day? So they reacted to join different sports centers that they were part of that's closest to their neighborhoods.
Okay.
So when they got there, it was very ad hoc. So they were there on their own. They were learning as they go, but they had that intrinsic desire that they wanted to help. They wanted to contribute.
Okay. So I assume you were there?
Yes, I was at one center at Toa Payoh Stadium.
Okay, and then what did you see your youths, how did they contribute?
I think at Toa Payoh itself, it was more just an onboarding on why we are there and how our small actions add up to a larger goal, which is helping society.
Okay.
So I think they stepped up, they were responsible, ready for whatever needed to be done. It wasn't always, when they went down to the respective RCs where they were the distribution centers itself, I think they didn't necessarily give out the mask itself, but they helped with logistical arrangements, helped with directing people to where they needed to collect it from.
These 10 youths from SportCares, are they current students, or all of them have already part-time working or waiting for national service?
The 10 that volunteered are all students. So
right.
They stepped up because I think they didn't have any working shift for that weekend. So I think they felt that I can contribute and I have the means to do it.
Did you notice any sense of fear or, within the students?
Some of the students, yes, a bit skeptical as to why they are there and how exactly they are contributing, but I think as the briefing went on, they kind of understood how they were helping, that every small part goes a long way.
Okay, so at the end of the exercise, I'm assuming you had a chance to at least speak to them to just get their sense of how they felt, the experience.
I think I didn't have to say very much actually, they could see it for themselves. And I think with social media being what it is, I think there's a lot of very positive sentiments and also very negative sentiments there. So I think as a person, they can judge it for themselves.
Just last few questions. If there was more time to organize this from the part of SportCares, what would you have hoped to have seen achieved?
I think if there was a bit more leeway in how we engage the youth in terms of time and getting them with their work schedules, I think we would have liked to have seen teams contributing as an entire unit, as a group, which is, as a football team, is of
Oh, when you talk,
importance.
you mean football teams?
Yes, so the SNL program is a football program.
Right.
So as a team stepping forward, as in one leader saying that yes, we should do this.
Yeah.
This is what we stand for, and coming out together in force.
I like the term SNL, which the Americans, of course, coined it being Saturday Night Live, and you guys have
Yes.
modified it to
Saturday Night Lights.
nice. Patrick, maybe you can tell us who were the SportCares volunteers that stepped up to this exercise?
So we invited the SportCares SNL youth from our football program. Reason being that the SportCares SNL program is a bit personalized, where there's no middle organization or school that we work with, where it's just SportCares coaching team,
Sure.
and the youth directly.
Okay.
So we engage the youth during the week through WhatsApp, through phone calls, conversations, and then on the Saturday itself, the program is run on Saturday nights.
Okay. So 10 youths came down. Looking back, do you feel that was a decent effort by SportCares given the short time frame?
I think it was a good turnout, actually, considering the short leeway. I think in under 12 hours to mobilize anyone for whether it's a volunteering activity or an exercise, I think it's never easy.
Yeah.
So having 10 youth was a positive number from us.
Patrick Paranjody, thank you very much for joining us on SG Sports Uncut. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you for having me.
And next we have Pravin Raj. He has been part of the SportCares Youth program for 7 years. Pravin, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
What made you decide to volunteer when the call went out, on a Friday night, and there was this mask distribution exercise?
What made me go for this event is because I believe that we should help one another in times of crisis, and the estate that I actually volunteered with my teammate and with my teammate is there was quite a lot of rental flat, and my belief is in that experience there was someone actually talking to the volunteer saying that if he could get an extra mask because of one of his household, they were actually sick, and unfortunately they couldn't do anything about it, as each person were given 2 masks in that package. And I think that in this kind of time, we should really be there for one another, and just care for a little bit, and give our heart and soul in times like this.
So, you're staying, which neighborhood are you referring to?
Chinatown.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
around Chinatown. Yes.
So were you involved in the first day or the second day, Saturday or Sunday?
I was involved on Saturday, the first day itself. Yes.
So when you got down to the where were you actually stationed?
Correcta IAC, RC.
RC. Okay.
IACC.
So then, what did you get to do?
We didn't really distribute the masks. We just help out with logistics itself. And as for me, I was actually stationed at the CC because some of the residents, they didn't know where the RC was, so they just asked me if I could actually be stationed at the CC itself, so I could bring some of the residents up to the RC itself to collect their mask itself.
Okay.
And along the way when I was at the CC, I followed one of the colleagues to actually post signage around the CC and near the RC itself, so they would actually have a better picture on which direction they should go best.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you notice or did you sense a little bit of fear in the residents that were coming to collect the mask?
To be honest, no, I didn't know.
No, everybody seemed
Everybody seemed
calm.
and all, but there was a few residents. They were actually some of them they were actually worried. Some of them they were actually okay about it. So
Okay.
when I meant okay, they were actually they were like, oh, they just want to collect their mask and quickly go home because of the coronavirus around.
Okay.
Yeah,
So your shift was how many hours?
about 3 to 4 hours at least.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So this was done over the weekend. Now you look back on it. What do you take away from that experience of having been part of this exercise?
When I look back at it, I mean, I'm grateful for SportCares who has always been giving me and and the teams all around island-wide to go for this kind of volunteering events and helping out. I'm actually proud to be actually part of it, because this is like in times of need, when they send me the text, I straight away I ask my coach, do you need my help, because I would also want to go for this event and also actually help out. And my takeaway from it is when the first question that you asked me, we should actually help one another in times of need and in times of crisis. Yeah.
You've been part of SportCares, the youth program for 7 years now. What do you feel is the most important lesson you've learned in 7 years?
The most important lesson I learned in 7 years is to be yourself, respect one another, and of course be a gentleman. Yeah.
Okay. Last question. I understand you're just less than 2 weeks away before you complete your national service. Congratulations.
Yes.
What's next for you?
What's next for me is I'm gonna stay with Active SG Football Academy for a while, and of course be with SportCares in the volunteering side, and help and continue growing with them, and continue growing with Active SG Football Academy as I grow.
Okay, Pravin Raj, we wish you the very best, and thank you for your efforts in the recent exercise. All the best.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.